What is good, everybody? Hope everyone's having a good week. Podcast 144. Back at it. It's Wednesday, the 20th, and I'm just excited for Memorial Day weekend. Get a 3-day weekend, and I could use it. I could use it. We're going camping this weekend with my wife's family, and yeah, man, it's always a good time to just kind of get away from the house and just, kind of put the phone away. You don't get good service out there, so that's nice. But yeah, put the phone away and just kind of camp and relax and sit by a fire, maybe do some cookouts, throw some cornhole, whatever. Just hang out with the family. Yeah, man. New song out now, Count It Up, featuring Young Kai. We got a project dropping here real soon, and I'm definitely excited about that. My new album is out now, Cruize. And yeah, man, we're just keeping it flowing. Yeah, man, there's one thing I did want to talk about. So I'll show you this. You see my purple bracelet there. It's called the Complaint Free bracelet, and it pairs with a book by, I believe his name is Will Bowen, A Complaint Free World. And it's just a book that I came across. I don't even know how. Maybe I found it at the thrift store or whatever, but man, this book has been incredible. I felt like it really hit me in the right time. So the whole basis of the book, let me start there. The whole basis of the book is that you wear this bracelet, this purple bracelet, for 21 days straight. There it is. You have to go complaint free for 21 days, then you can take the bracelet off. But every time you complain, you have to start back over. And when you do complain, you got to switch the bracelet. You got to switch the wrist that the bracelet is on. So it's basically a way to teach your mind to stop complaining. Complaining, gossiping, negative self-talk, any of that. So every time you say something, you say it, you can think it, but if you say it and it comes out your mouth and it's not something that is healthy or moving you forward, you have to change the bracelet and then start back at day 0. And then the whole goal is to get 21 straight days without any complaints and without moving the bracelet. So that's the basis of the book. And so I'm going to go back. So I felt like it hit me. I opened this book at the exact time that I needed to in my life. If you've been following along, you know that I've been dealing with some stuff, and as we all do, but stuff just got a little heavy for me, and I just needed a way to refocus my life. And I felt like this bracelet has really helped me do that. It's, call it what you want. To some it might sound gimmicky or silly or whatever, but for me it's really helped. Just think more positively. It helps me, really get out the thoughts that need to be let out of my mind. And if we speak, if our words become the things that we attract, thoughts are things manifested by words. And if I'm planting seeds with the words that I speak, I want to make sure that I'm planting good crops. I don't want to keep planting negative crops. And then, these things come up in my life, and I'm wondering why they came up. Well, they stem from the words that I speak. And I want to make sure that my words are sowing good seeds. So yeah, man, highly recommend that book. I'm about halfway through. I'm not finished with it yet. But yeah, highly recommend it, and get you one of these bracelets. At first, when I first started the book, I just pulled a bracelet out of my drawer, and you could do that, but I just felt like in order for it to be like official, I wanted to order the exact bracelets that the book promotes. So I did. I got my bracelet, and my wife one as well. So yeah, man, just trying to just stay positive and go 21 straight days without complaining. I'm just trying to rewire my brain a little bit. That's one of those things that I can control. A lot of things in life you can't control, but that's one of those things that I can. And if it's in my power, if I could control it, I'm going to do what I can to make sure that I'm living the best life that I could control. So, yeah, man. This week has been a little bit of a shift for me, a positive shift, which is nice. It's well needed. I'm not really too sure what exactly shifted, but it feels like something in me has shifted. I will say I have been praying a lot more, reading a lot more, listening to healthy audios, like leadership talks and leadership speeches, and you can find all that on YouTube. But then also just allowing myself grace to just relax, just relax and prioritize the next best thing. I think that's kind of where I get hung up sometimes, when I'm overly focused on everything all at once. I feel like that causes a lot of overwhelming pressure that I don't necessarily need. So I've just taken a step back and just prioritized what I have to do next. Whatever that next thing is, that's what I have to do. Instead of trying to do everything all at once, let's just knock out one thing at a time. The most important thing at a time. So we'll get through it. We always do. But this week has felt nice. It's been a shift. And it probably has something to do with this bracelet too, I think when you do get overwhelmed in life, and you do feel like you have all this, you put all this pressure to get all this stuff done at once, I think your mind automatically goes to a negative state. And when that happens, a lot of times, when you can't control your thoughts or your mind, your words are just coming out, and they're just not words that you want in your life. And trust me, man, I am not perfect at this at all. I've flipped my bracelet multiple times this week. I haven't even completed a full day yet. But that's part of the process. It's part of the process. And I'm getting better, I've realized that, like yesterday, I didn't flip my bracelet until like later in the evening. And then, of course, I think parenting is a challenge at times too with this, because for me, like, a lot of times I get tired from work. I'm mentally tired, and then I have to really watch what I say around my daughter. And then sometimes things get said that aren't the most positive. And I love my daughter so much, man. She's just perfect for me. She's teaching me how to be a good man, a good father, a good person. She's teaching me patience, grace. These are all things that, like, maybe my father struggled with as a kid, or when I was a kid, that I'm now trying to just rewire. I try to parent from a place of things that I might have lacked as a kid. That's the parenting perspective that I want to take. I want to give my kid the things that I didn't get as a kid from my dad. And, my dad's a good man. He did the best he could. But there's things that he didn't defeat as a father that I have to now take on. And if I don't defeat those things, then I pass it down to my kids. And I don't want that. I don't want that. So I'm learning, and thankfully I feel like my daughter gives me the grace to learn. She knows I'm not perfect. And I'm just doing the best I can. So yeah, man. I flipped my bracelet yesterday. It was later in the day. And I'm, now I know, like, okay, I get tired a little bit later in the evening after I've worked all day. But I still have to focus. I still have to put my game face on, stay positive, and be complaint free or negative free, negative self-talk free. So we'll get there, baby. We'll get there, man. That's the beautiful thing about this bracelet, is that it gives you the awareness to know and recognize, like, okay, like, these are times where the pressure kind of intensifies during my day, and that's the time where my focus needs to intensify as well, and just be aware of what's coming out of my mouth. So it's all good, baby. We're just doing the best we can. I'm trying to do the best I can with what I got and what I can control. If I can't control it, it's not meant for me to worry about. So I think another thing that's really helped me recently is just kind of looking for ways to have fun. Life doesn't always have to be so serious all the time. Like, we can have fun with life. Just remove the pressure off yourself and allow yourself to enjoy your time. I know I talked about it in the last episode, but just having that childlike wonder of, a kid just wants to have fun. He doesn't think about how it's going to hurt himself. Sometimes they don't think about how it might affect others. And I'm not saying be reckless, but a kid just wants to have fun. They're looking to have fun in every situation. And I think that at some point in life, like, we lose that. We lose that sense of wonder and joy. But it's never too late to get it back and know that, life is meant to be an experience that, you can either enjoy or you could just kind of go through it. Either way, you have to go through life. So you can either have fun or you can be miserable. And I want to get back to being a fun person that looks for fun in every situation. I want to get back to that. And I am getting back to it. So, yeah, man. Hope all that made sense. Another good thing about this bracelet is that, it makes you stop and think for a second, and live in the silence. Sometimes that silence, we fill it with words that we don't really mean. If you think about, maybe you're hanging out with somebody you don't necessarily want to be around, and it's awkward and the tension's there, and you're just saying things, and you're like, you step away and you're like, man, why did I say that? Like, why did it come out that way? Well, it's because you're not allowing yourself the silence to just sit in the moment, just breathe. And just find the words that you want to say. I don't want to be known as a jabberjaw, somebody who just talks for the sake of talking to fill the space. There's already so much noise in the world. I don't need to fill it with words that don't have meaning. Beautiful, man, because this bracelet is giving me the awareness to think about things before I say them. Like, how do I want this to come out in a way that promotes life, that promotes love, promotes God? I want to make sure that God is at the forefront of everything I do. I want to make sure that Jesus is the Lord of my mind and my words and my eyes and my body, my finances, my family, all that. Jesus comes first. And it's cool because this bracelet is kind of like what, one of those bracelets from like the early 90s, like what would Jesus do bracelet. It's not directly tied to that, but it's the same concept. It's just thinking from a higher perspective. Thinking and speaking from a higher perspective that maybe you just didn't do before the bracelet. So yeah, man. Life is beautiful, baby. Life is beautiful. You can never go wrong when you speak positive, when you speak affirmations. Even if you don't believe it, I think if you speak it, there's a little bit of power in that. It helps you believe it. When you hear yourself saying things that maybe you typically wouldn't say, Like, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm a leader. I am present in the moment. I am free. I am a fun person. I'm a fun person to be around. I have fun. I look for fun. I look for things that are beautiful. I'm a child of God. God loves me. I am removing pressure off myself and off people around me. And I'm getting better every second, every day. You know, I think your brain, even if you don't believe that stuff, I think when you say those things, your brain starts to believe it. Something inside of you starts to believe it. I don't know if it's your brain. I don't know what it is, but something inside of you starts to believe those things. And if that's a way that I can control, outcomes in my life, even if it's silly, even if it seems gimmicky or whatever, why not? Why not do it? I'd rather live in a positive life than a negative one. So, yeah, man, I'll leave it there. Sorry if it feels like just kind of running through it, but I just felt like that's kind of been on my mind. Yeah, man, go check out that book. It's A Complaint-Free World. I think his name is Bowen, Will Bowen, I believe. If I'm off on that, I apologize. But, yeah, man, 21 straight days. Today is I'm on ground zero, working to get that first day in. I feel like it's going to be easier once you get that first day in. And there might be some setbacks along the way, but it's all good, baby. It's all good. Getting better by the day. So, much love. Hope you guys have a good day. If we don't talk soon, hope you have a good weekend. And, yeah, man, be positive. Much love. Peace.